Hi, fantastic phonics friends. It is good to see you. Happy Monday and welcome back from your Thanksgiving break. Today, we are going to be starting a three-part series on the ending ED. To activate your schema, this video is going to show you all three sounds for ED, and then we're going to break each sound up for each day. So there'll be 3 days that we're going to talk about this. Let's go ahead and review. It is going to give you a lot of information. So don't freak out. We're going to go back and we're going to learn about each one so you don't have to remember everything that the video shows you, but it is an excellent video to give you some information about the sounds.
Of the suffix how do we know? The dead intended strategy. When a root word ends with D once, these two letters join.
All right, so lots of good information that you probably weren't aware of. Oh my goodness, ED says so many things. Let's start with our learning target. I can create real words using a hunk and chunk so I can learn to sound out words. I will know I have it when I can create words that have the ED sound in them. Today we're going to talk about the suffix, which is the ending ED. Ed or ed makes the same sound as the person's name Ed. You may have an Uncle Ed, or you may have heard of that name before. Ed is used to represent the past, something that has happened a while ago, or yesterday. The suffix ed is when the root word or the base word ends in T or D, you can use the sound at the end, the ed sound. And what they talked about in the video, which I love this to help us remember, is called the dead TED strategy. So what that means is if the word ends in a D, or if the word ends in a T, then you add ed and you say ed at the end. For instance, land. If I had just the word land with no ending, when I put the ed on, it is landed. So there's the dead TED strategy. See the dead at the end of it. So that helps us to remember if it's a D at the end or a T at the end, we say ed. So for guided practice today, we're going to do things a little bit different. So you have a couple of choices and a couple of options. If you want to, you can use your whiteboard. But if you use your whiteboard, you need to keep your words on the whiteboard so that you can use them for independent practice today. Also, if you want to use your spiral notebook that we sent home with you before you left, you can use that and you can write these words down. So today we're going to look at a few words that use this dead TED strategy. So the first word we're going to do is land. So either on your whiteboard or in your notebook, I want you to write the word land, L-A-N-D. Now, the dead TED strategy said if it ends with a D, we're going to say the name ed at the end. So when we add the ed at the end, now it says landed, landed. And there is the dead strategy. See that DED by itself. The next one I want you to write is add, ADD. And I want you to add ed at the end so that now you have the word added. I added ed. And there again is the dead TED strategy, DED at the end of a word. Isn't that cool? I just love that. So that way when you're reading, you know I need to say ed at the end. And the reason why that's going to make more sense as we go throughout the week is because ed can also say the d sound, or it can say the t sound. And I'm going to teach you all of those different ways and how you know. But for this particular sound today, we're going to use the D or the T at the end to remind us that we say ed. And the next word is faint. So will you write the word faint, F-A-I-N-T, faint, plus ed, so add the ed onto that. So now your new word is fainted. And here is the dead TED part. See how TED is there? TED. So we had faint, and then we added the ed, and now it is fainted, fainted, or the added. I love that. That's easy for us to remember. So today, for your independent practice, I've kind of written out a little bit of what you're going to do. When you pull up the independent practice, it's going to look exactly like this. But I'm just going to go over it before you do it. So the first part says use the 4 words that we did during guided reading practice. I think we just did 3, so you might have to pull one from your page or from your research or your thinking. But you're going to write 4 ED words on your paper. Then it says, can you read these words? So the list of words that you have, you want to go through and read those. Read those to yourself, read those to someone. If you get stuck on one, make sure you ask somebody what it is. Then it says split the word in half to show the root word and the ed suffix ending. So what that means is you are going to either put a space or a dash in between those so that we can see the root word and the suffix. Let me show you what that looks like. So this is exactly what your sheet is going to look like when you pull it up. You're going to click in that box and type in your words. And then here it says add a space mark or an actual space between your root words. So what that means is I want you to click after that T and just add a space there. Okay, click after that T, add a space there. So I want you to split out the root word and the ending. Okay, so that's what you're going to do on your guided practice, and you're going to leave it like that when you send it. And then down here it says research some more ED words or some that you're thinking of on your own. So remember, it has to end with a T or a D in order for it to say ed, like painted. I did include a chart that has the ED endings. There are 4 there. It has the T endings and the D endings that we're going to be talking about in the next few days. But the ones that you're going to look at are right here if you need those for your chart. So when you go out and you go into Google Classroom, you're going to look for Phonics Independent Practice. That's what you're going to click on to do this work. Then after it's finished, you're going to hit share and send it to my email so that I can see how you're doing. Okay, just a little note, want to make sure that you're constantly using that reflection. So do you understand ED at the end says ed when there's a T or a D? Level 3, you got this, you can read all the words. Level 2, needed a little bit of practice on reading some of the words, but for the most part, you're doing well. Or you are a level 1 if you were unable to read any of the words, or you're not sure how to say the ed ending. Okay, so make sure that you're doing that. I will touch base with you guys when I meet with you live just to make sure that you guys are good on this ending and don't need any clarification or any extra work. Also, you're going to notice I have put in there that if this only takes you a few minutes to do, don't forget that I would like for you to get on Lexia, and you can go through the Grant County homepage to get on Lexia, and I sent your passwords with you in your baggies with your spiral notebooks. But I'd like for you to do 15 to 20 minutes of Lexia every day. So if this phonics only takes you about 10 minutes, and then you are ready to do some Lexia for 10 or 15 minutes to get that time in so you don't have to do it later. All right, let me know if there's anything you need, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.